Hi everyone. It's Tuesday evening. It's 6 p.m. For many of you, you might be just walking in the door. If you are a frontline worker or you've been donating your time to food outlets, to places that need another pair of hands, and if you just logged on, welcome. I'm Edie Nathan. I'm a psychotherapist. I work with grief, loss, and trauma, and we've been having a lot of discussions in the last few weeks about this very topic and so much more. I live here in New York City, and today we got a message on our phones that there was a tornado warning. Not a watch, an actual warning, which means it was spotted. I mean, like they could see a tornado, and there was hail and rain, heavy, heavy rain, high winds, and it just got me thinking, wow, like this is crazy. Tornadoes don't touch down in New York City. They don't show up in this part of the world, a part of our nation. And my husband said something that I thought was so interesting. Mother Earth must be very angry. And I wonder how, if maybe Mother Earth, there is some anger. I'm also wondering about your anger. And across the nation, there's a divide. There's such a great divide of people who know that staying in and quarantined, they know for themselves that that's what they need. They need to stay in. And then there are other people who don't agree with that. And freedom of speech, freedom of our rights to be, and they just want to get life going again. They want to go out, they want to participate, they want to make things happen, and that's understandable too. And they're angry and stuck, and probably, like many of us, afraid. And I wonder how anger and fear often have a relationship to one another, right? Like they talk to one another. I'm afraid, I don't know what to do with my fear, and so instead I get angry. Or I'm really, really angry. I'm so angry, and all I want to do is just rage at, I've been inside for 6 weeks. Rage at, how did I get COVID-19? Rage at, I can't see my grandmother who's in a nursing home, or my parent, or my sister, or my brother who's in a hospital. And they're raging and they're angry. But really, on the other side of that is fear. And all of that comes under the umbrella of grief. Grief is so palpable. It comes in so many different forms, and it actually is like it hijacks you. It doesn't ask your permission. It doesn't ask you if, it can come and sit by your side. And it, unlike a hitchhiker, where you choose to pick up that hitchhiker or not, you have no choice. And the thing is that you do have a choice about the anger, and you do have a choice about your fear. Maybe not feeling them, but how they take over. I know fear like I know the back of my hand. And I know anger pretty well too. And they're really, really hard to move through, to understand, to call it like it is. And the times when I've been angry, I know that I'm afraid of something. I feel alone, and I'm afraid of that. Or I just don't know what to do with all the feelings that are coming up within me. And so they lash out at another, or they get swallowed, And when we swallow anger, it can turn into you're drinking too much, you're eating too much, you're drugging too much, or they're opposite. It's so interesting how opposites are really on the same line, just opposite. But the result is often the same. If you're starving or you're overfed, you're still left with a sense of it's too much. It's just too much. It's too much hunger. It's too much of being sated, full. And both leave you feeling distraught. And in this place where there is such a division, and maybe even a division within your own home, and we know about divisions in the home. We've seen political divisions. We've seen racial divisions. And these divisions also cause anger and fear and the unknown. And it's so hard. It's so hard to name what's going on and to calm ourselves in the anger and in the fear. So the first thing that you can do is just be aware. Now I say just be aware like, oh, that's so simple. What I'm saying is not so simple. This is not so simple. This is hard. Name it. I'm afraid. I am afraid. I am angry. And then finish what you've named. I am angry because I am afraid. And I am afraid because there are things, too many things that are out of my control right now. I am angry because I'm afraid, and I'm afraid that I don't know what's going to be in the next week or 2 or 3. And I don't know what my life is going to look like. I am angry and I am afraid because I'm not sure I want to be with my partner anymore. I don't like him or her, or I don't like myself with them. And what does that mean? And what am I going to do about it? And is there anything I can do about it? And these are big questions that many of us are facing right now. And is it hard? Oh, yeah, it is. Is it insurmountable? It doesn't have to be. Not unless you decide that it is. So the first steps, name it. Name what's going on for you. I am afraid and I'm angry about this fear. I don't like being afraid. It makes me angry. It makes me feel less than, because my anger makes me feel like I'm out of control. And so I'm just giving you some examples here. It doesn't mean that any of them are right for you. But this is a way to begin this conversation with yourself, because it is with yourself that this conversation begins. Less with another, less with your boss, less with whatever your go-to people are. It starts with you, with that internal part of you, that rich, gutsy, determined part of you that you know exists within you. And you know what you can tolerate. Oh yeah, you do. And you know when you need to take a break, or maybe you don't, but maybe you're learning that now. And maybe this busyness that we've all had, as we quiet, we see. And the world becomes clearer. We become clearer in the world. And so with our anger and with our fear and with this grief, we actually find some gifts. And they are amazing. There's nothing wrong with being angry. There's nothing wrong with being afraid. It's when they take over and take up space and they've hijacked us, that's when they're a problem. And it's in the hijacking that they become a problem. So you've got this. And the first step is naming it. The second step is understanding the relationship between the fear and the anger. And then again, naming what you're afraid of, what you're angry about. And then going to the self. And those are the 3 steps. And you've got this. You've had the power all along. They're in your feet, this power. This power is in your heart. And this power actually happens when you reach out to 3 people and tell them something you really like about them. Something that's made you laugh today, and something that really pissed you off. And today, if you go to my website, ednathan.com, and you sign up for my newsletter, I will send you a link to my book, a link to one chapter in my book. And I hope to hear from you. Tell me what you've been angry about. Tell me what you've been afraid of. And tell me what you learned. And you can do it right here. You can private message me on Facebook, or you can do it right here in the notes and the comments. Have a good night, and thank you for showing up and being here. I see you, and I feel you. Good night.